Hello everybody and welcome to Magny-Cours in the latest round of the GNR SimSports Proto-GT Sprint Series, the third last round of the season and the last race to contain any rain. We've already had the rain, it looks like. It may well be a drying race throughout, indeed a drying qualifying session it looks like right now as well. We'll wait and see whether there's another surprise in store for us here tonight. The field forming nicely, more than 20 drivers in once again in our classes, our four different classes involving three different car classes, of course. So GTP, LMP2, GT3 Pro and GT3 AM all involved again on a Friday night here on the JPB channel. Great to be with you again. Myself, Ian O'Leary, James Prophet in commentary once again. Of all these strange circuits, James, of multi-class racing, I've enjoyed most of them, to be honest. Zandvoort and Adelaide especially, I would say, from the season so far. This is also a circuit that doesn't see too much multi-class racing, doesn't see too much racing of any kind, really. But great to have it on this calendar, I think, for round 6 of our championship.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed, I think, this circuit. I'm not, I've got to be honest, I'm not a lover of Magny-Cours, but that's just me. But I think this could be a very, very interesting dynamic. How are they going to get the overtakes done as well? It's going to make it even more interesting. Qualifying has been interesting. There has not been a lot of times on the board. I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8 people that have not got times on the board.
There's plenty of them. Does that mean they're just waiting or not qualifying? Well, Parker Venkrist has been out there and come back. So has Jeff Manning. So has Jay Becker. Steve Germon is only just going out now. Tom Weston is also out there at the moment. Philip Gressing has also gone out and given up. So, yeah, there's a lot of drivers who are not qualifying here today as Nicholas Green goes over the line there to complete his session. Tom Weston's going to do the same in just a moment, although that will be at the end of lap 1, of course, not the end of both laps. Is that lap even going to count? Doesn't look like it for Tom Weston. I'll just quickly run through the standings, by the way, before we get underway here, because it looks like qualifying is pretty much over. It's a very, very close battle in GTP. Ian Knox and Magnus Hurtbo just 1 point apart after last week's, or last round, I should say, at Circuit of the Americas. Andy Pratt is sort of running away with LMP2, but has been pegged back slightly by Vegard Johansson in recent weeks. Pratt is on pole for this race, and Johansson not here today, so we know which way that championship might well be going now. Matt Stewart has been dominating GT3 Pro and has the biggest lead of any, 17 points in front of Caleb Parsons, with Casey Collier then in third place, and then Randy Olivo leading the AMS now, only 1 point in front of Garrett Kinney, 2 in front of Rhys Bartlett, and 2 in front of Chris London. So the top 4 there separated by just 2 points. I would say that gives us 2 championships, GTP and GT3 AM, which are properly close ones, and the other 2 perhaps going to Andy Pratt and Matt Stewart respectively.
Yeah, but I think it's still quite interesting. I think Pratt can still be caught technically with this round and 2 more. But Vegard Johansson does have to be here, which is very, very difficult indeed, obviously, for that one. But I think overall, this should be quite an interesting evening of racing, I think.
Yep, it certainly will be. We'll see what the weather is doing as well when we get down on the session there in a moment. So here's the grid. Ian Knox taking the pole in front of Chad Henson, then Magnus Hurtbo, who starts from 3rd here tonight and over a second off of Ian Knox there on the qualifying. Andy Pratt's qualified 4th overall, and we'll start from there with Gert-Jan Polman next in line. Then the non-qualifiers for LMP2, who've been obviously shunted up a bit to be ahead of the GT3s. So Philip Gressing, Parker Enquist, Tom Weston and Jeff Manning all then next in line. Then Casey Collier, who's taken the pole in GT3 Pro from Caleb Parsons. Then Matt Stewart, the championship leader there. Josh Taylor, Curtis Matthewson and Nick Green, then the other pros. And then down into the AMS. Garrett Kinney leading there in front of Rhys Bartlett, then Justin Lanney and Randy Olivo. Then you've got Jay Becker, Steve Germont, Damien Hayward and Carlos Palinas rounding out the 23 drivers in the field. Seeing at the moment a mixture of wet and dry tyres, and this is always the absolute fascination with these races. Is it dry enough at the moment for those slick tyres, or have those who've chosen the wets made the right call? And I noticed that more drivers than normal are waiting as long as possible to make that decision, and some people are popping onto the grid and then popping off again as they try and make a decision here. It's a very, very difficult decision to make. Yes,
but the track is only very lightly wet, I think, is the situation currently at this moment in time. 0% chance of rain, which means it's going to dry. Do you go out on dries and hope for the best? That's going to be the question. Will they be able to hold and keep on the track, or will they not be able to keep on the track? Look at that. Wet, wet in the GTPs. In the LMP2s, it's dry, dry, wet, dry, dry, wet, wet. And then wets in the GT3s. Nick Green on a dry, Becker on a dry. Ooh, good mix of tyres.
A very, very big mix of tyre compounds here. And actually, Nick Green decided to start from the pit lane. Might be not be a bad call at all. You know you're going to get the right decision then. Oh, dear me, there's not much spray, is there? I think this is a dry tyre racetrack at the moment. But can you get those tyres up to temperature is the question. Obviously, it's going to be very, very cold. And you can see the weaving from Ian Knox at the moment. And they're not going to be able to get up to great speed where spray will be really a factor on this formation lap. But yeah, this looks very, very dry to me at the moment. And the only one of our 3 GTPs is Magnus Hortbo to have chosen the dries. The only LMP2s to have chosen dries are Philip Gressing and Parker Enquist, along with the leader Andy Pratt as well, making a late choice there. And Jay Becker is the only GT3 on dries. Have they made the right call here? I suspect they have, but will that be different when they get up to racing speed, I wonder?
Yeah, I got a funny feeling, though. As soon as they go off, that spray's going to be worse. My fear is whether or not they have an incident in the process. Let's hope they don't, and let's hope they all make it through happily. But I've got a funny feeling people on the wets might be laughing a little bit early on.
I think, yeah, initially, quite possibly. As that continues on, as we go on in this race, will that change and go in favour of those dry tyre runners, I wonder? There is the big hairpin round here, and we should speak about some of the overtaking chances that there exist around here. This big one in towards turn 5 is Adelaide, and it harps to the hairpin that we've already seen in this season at Adelaide. Then the Nürburgring chicane, turns 7 and 8 coming up here. Not really an overtaking chance, but another racetrack being invoked by these 2 corners here. And then the Imola chicane is turn 12 and 13 before the hairpin at Chateau d'Eau, which maybe is a half chance. Then you get the final few chicanes right here. I think it's a really underrated circuit, Magny-Cours, I've got to say. Formula 1 hasn't been here for about 20 years now, and I'd say not many racing series come here anymore, sadly, but I think it really is a great racetrack.
Well, we're going to find out, dear sir. As I said, I don't find this circuit amazing. I don't know. I just have a varied opinion on this one, I think, to be blatantly honest. But let's see what happens, because at the end of the day, I might be right, and you might be right, and there might be great racing.
Yeah, let's see. I think the great racing tonight is going to come from the different tyre compounds and the changing conditions, to be honest, more than the circuit itself. But anyway, we'll leave that to one side. So Nick Green is going to start from the pit lane. Looks like Damien Hayward and Carlos Palanas, unfortunately, are not going to start here tonight. Have a look at the close up there. There's quite a bit of water, isn't there? That the wets are trying to clear. This could be very, very interesting indeed. By the way, painfully slow pace lap here, by the way.
I know.
You get out and run quicker than this.
I know. They've been going at it for ages. What seems like being ages. So anyway, let's get into YouTube chat a minute. Sam Hager has fractured his left big toe, apparently. It wasn't even exciting. He was running with his dog and the dog tripped him over. So there we go. And then Cuddles, which I believe is Vegard Johansson. He's a resurgence and an ear infection, meaning he can't wear headphones, making it difficult to drive without sound. So there you go. A couple of people out tonight with self-inflicted injury from Sam Hager, though. That's one I've never heard anybody admit to be honest.
Indeed. Dog tripping. Although the amount of dogs that nearly tripped me over, not my own dogs, I don't have a dog, but the other people's dogs who are not paying attention, just tripping me over is obscene. So I can't believe it. Anyway, the green flag's waving here at Magny-Cours, and we're about to see who's made the right decision. Magnus Hortbo's on the dries here. Knox and Henson on the wets. And it's very even so far, coming through the first few corners, if you can believe it. Of all the scenarios, I wasn't expecting the 2 compounds to be pretty much even early on in this race, but that's what they are right now. Here comes Andy Pratt in towards turn 1 as well on dry tyres, leading the LMP2 field. And look at the spray being kicked off. That can't be good for these dries, and he does just slip a little bit wide there. Hortbo challenging Henson in towards the Adelaide hairpin, and of course in a straight line, these slick tyres with less resistance will be quicker, but it's in the corners where things will be a lot more difficult, and Hortbo has got off at the hairpin, in fact, so that's terrible news for him. Meantime, the GT3s, who are pretty much all on wet tyres, are getting underway now as well. And Nick Green's gone too soon there because he's rejoined in third in the GT3 class. He's going to have to go to the back.
Yeah, I think it was hard for Nick Green because he was probably told to go in the pit lane as soon as the GTPs went past him. But let's have a look at what Magnus Holtbro did. Coming down into the hairpin here as well. Did he just lock up too much? He pulls out to the right-hand side. I've got a funny feeling his back end's coming round regardless. And he's just got in deep. Couldn't get the car stopped, actually. So fair play to Magnus on that one. But unfortunately, he dropped down to the back, over the gravel. Actually, there was a spin at the end there as well. Sorry, I cut away just a little bit too early.
That's where he lost all the time then, just trying to get back under speed. Now, Pratt is definitely the one under pressure here and the slowest one, but the wet tyre guys aren't exactly going quickly. Philip Gressing has gotten past the other wet tyre guys who are now side by side and making contact. Now goes around Philip Gressing, as does Tom Weston, who worked his way up to third place there. He was touched and so was Gressing in towards Chateau d'Eau. And they both go into a spin. It's not a dry tyre versus wet tyre thing at the moment. That was two spins from two different compounds. Even the guys on wets are struggling right now. This is Manning on wet tyres who's struggling as well. But I can't believe the scenario we're seeing here. I thought one compound would be definitely better than the other. I was not expecting it to be so close between the two compounds.
We're kind of sitting in. It's really weird actually, because this is probably the only time in the race you sit back and go, they need intermediate tyres.
Yeah.
Because the wets are too...
wets are too wet.
And the dries just aren't working at all. You get what I mean, right? I couldn't figure out how I was going to word that. But the wets are just too much and the dries aren't enough. You need intermediates. And Philip Gressing has... Well, I don't know quite what he's done with Parker Enquist, but whatever he's done a big old job in the process, because he's gone off. Parker Enquist has gone off. Steve Gurman's gone off. And Nick Green's... Oh, look at Gressing.
Wow. That is a dry tyre spin. Now, the timing screen's got very confused with Philip Gressing because it's put him in the lead for some reason. That will hopefully fix itself in the next couple of moments. Parker Enquist is on wet tyres and also through the final... he's on dries and also spins there. So it is definitely more precarious if you are on the dries. But Andy Pratt's making it work. And he's out front in front of Manning and Pullman, who are fighting amongst themselves. Look at the gravel through there. That's absolutely unbelievable. And here's Magnus Holtbro, now behind some LMP2s. This GTP is not enjoying these conditions at the moment. It doesn't look very far from the dry tyre part of this race at all. But Holtbro has made two mistakes now, and this is killing his race. It's fine for the dries to be slower than the wets, but whatever. But he could not afford the mistakes that he is currently making.
Oh, Garrett Kinney he's had a big one, and he's gone back to pit lane. I'm not quite sure what he did this time, but this was one of them. And then he's gone and done another one not long after. Nick Green.
He didn't go to the back, by the way, Green. He was in the middle of the pack there and spun.
Hold on. So this is what I could think happened to Green.
Swore just spins all the way round, and
watch Garrett Kinney
should have dropped to the back.
Watch Garrett Kinney. There he is.
He moved again, did Nick Green?
There's lots of drama going on, but Magnus Holtbro is battling away with Gert-Jan Pullman in the LMP2. Justin Lanya is fighting out at the moment with Reece Bartlett in the GT3. So lots going on at this moment in time, and it's rather funky. The tyre, Jeff Manning's off, Weston's off, Grisson's off, Becker's off, Kinney's in pit lane, Bartlett's been off as well. So yeah, lots taking shape at this moment in time.
Lots happening. Garrett Kinney the only one with a meatball, as we've seen. So to remind you, Jay Becker at the back of this group is the only one on dry tyres in the GT3s. You can see him coming up very quickly here on Randy Olivo, the GT3 AM Championship leader right now. Becker goes down the inside of him. He's a pro driver. He goes down the inside and goes through. So these dries are starting to come of age here in the GT3s, where they'll probably work first, to be honest, in GT3, I would have thought. Speeding down towards the Nürburgring chicane. He's through on Lania as well. Well, if these GT3 tyres come in soon for Jay Becker, then he could be the race leader overall very, very soon, at least overall in GT3, I should say. He's trying to go round Bartlett here, and you can see the grip that he's got in these dries. Is this beginning to change here in the first 5-10 minutes of this race? Jay Becker suddenly slicing and dicing through this field.
But why, if he's managing to do it, is this man not managing to do it? Why is Magnus Holtbrook not doing the same as Becker, who seems to be just slicing through like a hot knife through butter? Now he's coming back through the LMP2 field, but surely, in hindsight, he should be able to get to the front fairly quickly for Magnus Holtbrook, isn't it?
Well, a few things. I think a driver who's actually experiencing these conditions will hopefully be able to explain this to us at the end of the race when we chat to somebody. But it's my understanding that these... By the way, that will be slightly out of order there because German's in a Mercedes that iRacing is not enjoying at the moment. We'll just leave him be there. So the tyres for the GT3s will be, the dry tyres will be picked up first. That they'll come into their own first because of the mechanical grip that the GT3s have. They can get the heat into the tyres a bit easier, and they can deal with having the dry tyres on a wetter surface than the prototypes can, which rely more on downforce, these prototypes, and therefore the tyres are very crucial to that. The tyres obviously crucial to the GT3s as well, but to a lesser degree. These tyres get up to temperature slower in the prototypes because they're a bit lighter on them with the downforce that they use. So that means that Grissing here on the dries in the LMP2s is not able to deal with it in the way that Jay Becker is slicing his way through in the dries in GT3. Having said that, Becker was still 5 seconds slower than Kason Collier last lap, and he's on dry tyres, so it does also depend on the driver quite a bit as well. And as this dries up, Hortbo seems to be going quicker too, and beginning to close on the top two in the field.
Yeah, he's just done a 39.18. Noxie last time around 42.9. So, yeah, Hopper is definitely coming out of both, and he's taking chunks out of them at the moment. But Chad Henson is doing this to Ian Knox at the moment, and these guys both on wet tyres. And that could explain why Hopper is closing up 2 seconds practically per lap if these guys are doing this at the front.
Well, that's certainly going to help. Side by side nearly towards the final few turns here. And Ian Knox holds on to the lead for now, but Chad Henson giving him a run for his money at the moment. And these tyres will begin to overheat, and they'll begin to search for the wet parts of the circuit to cool them down. Look out for that moment when they start doing that. It's a quite crucial moment in this race when they have to start reaching for the wet parts of this racetrack through the final turns. And
I thought he
for
was.
Reece Bartlett,
yeah,
meantime.
I thought he did. He went off the side of the circuit, unfortunately. Oh, Hopper's just crashed. Nick Green is having a horrendous race. I can't even imagine how many times his name's appeared on the crash board at the moment in time. Magnus come back incoming. Unfortunately not. He's just gone and done that. So, yeah, for Magnus Holtbrook, he's just gone around again. And that's just taking too much of the curb. Josh Taylor is battling out, but he's battling out with the leader of the GT3 AMS, Justin Lanier, currently at this moment in time. Yeah, Dave, never mind. He's just put in YouTube chat. Magnus Holtbrook comeback. He had put until he spun.
Yes, I don't think it is going to happen, unfortunately. But the problem as well as he's got is that when eventually there's going to be a point where he's eventually closing on these two very quickly and consistently as well without going off at any stage. But they've got such a gap, these two, 25 seconds. They've got so long to react to that happening and then come in to go on to drives themselves that he's very unlikely here to get back into this, unfortunately. These two, I think, are going to try and incorporate a tyre change into their strategy. They normally don't change tyres in this series in such a short 45-minute race. However, they may well do here, these two, try and time it so that at the point the dries become the tyre to be on, these two come into the pit lane, take the fuel that they always need, and then take those dry tyres as well to take them to the end of the race, providing that does happen in the next sort of 25 minutes or so.
Well, I think they're going to need to, because at the moment we've still got a 0% chance of rain. You know, and I've got a funny feeling they're going to need to come in. Holtbrook is coming back at him, but he's a long way back at this moment in time. So he's going to have to really kind of work this out, Magnus Holtbrook, to see if within the next 34 minutes he can actually even get there. Going to be very, very tough if he can, but what sort of state is his tyres going to be in? Justin Lanier is having a proper ding-dong with Jay Becker. Becker's just got past him and is now making moves through the GT3 Pro field at the moment. That's Josh Taylor he's got as well. So Becker making these dry tyres work The thing is as well, he's had to wait a long time. We're now 11 minutes into the race at this moment in time before Becker's tyres have finally come in and worked on this racetrack. So I've got a funny feeling it's how far he can go at the same time before he's got to come in for fuel.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different factors now with these conditions coming into play. Change as Hookbo gets back to the top three. Meantime, Becker is just absolutely slicing through this GT3 field. That's Josh Taylor now, and that's an overall position in his class. That's a GT3 Pro class position as well. And surely some of these GT3 Pros will begin to react soon. In the background, Ian Knox and Chad Henson in traffic, and with a dry line forming, Knox and Henson have been sort of running in one line so far and using those wet tyres in one way. Now they're going to have to go offline to try and overtake these GT3s, which always gets more difficult. Henson to the inside in towards turn 14. He's going to get blocked by that Porsche there, running slowly on the right hand side, and so Ian Knox stays in the lead. But Henson goes straight down the inside. It looks almost accidental. Henson down the inside and through into the race lead at the end of lap 7.
Wow, Chad Henson there doing a great job, but how much longer are these wet tyres going to last, Ewan? How much longer do we think before they're completely gone and they've got to come in, and whether or not they've got to come in early to try and get them off? That's the problem, but it looks fairly dry. He's trying to chase puddles, and there ain't really a lot of puddles on the racing line. You can see it's all on the offside of the circuit. So at the moment, Henson's tyres are going to be cooking quite a lot. There's one. He's managed to maybe cool him down just a little bit, but yeah, I think they're gonna need to come in soon, and I think Magnus Hultbrat could be on with a shot here as long as he can keep it on the racetrack.
He's not out of it, but I would say that these two are the huge favourites at the moment, those two up front. Last lap.
You reckon Hultbrat's not going to get there at all?
Yeah, because I think Henson and Knox can just react to this. You know, this is coming down quite quickly at the moment, but it seems to have turned quite quickly recently as well in favour of those dry tyres. I think they'll just come in for dries very soon, to be honest.
Okay.
Well, it's going to cost some time to change the tyres, obviously, but as long as they do it soon, then that shouldn't be a problem.
How much longer do you think they can sit there and wait for, though?
Well, not any longer after this lap, I don't think. To be honest, it's probably quite urgent now with it going down below 12 seconds. It's probably quite urgent. Last lap, obviously, gained 7 seconds on Knox, did Hultbrat. So yeah, this is urgent. I think for these two to come in this time, and we're in the pit window, so yeah, they should be in here. I would say.
Yeah, I think they've got to come in fairly soon. I do agree with you as well, dear. But they're not.
Well, are they expecting rain later? That's the thing we're not clear on at the moment. Is it going to rain again? Is that what they're looking for? Because at the moment, they're only going to last one more lap out ahead of Hultbrat at this rate.
It's still very lightly wet, apparently, and 0% chance of rain.
Yeah, I don't think it is going to rain again, but...
Well, back on YouTube, the forecast is set to rain.
It is set to rain in the second half. So these guys are not going to change tyres at all then, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but when? When is the
second
rain?
half?
Yeah, but is that going to work out for Magnus Hultbrat, who's going to already be on the back of these, and then it's going to rain? He's going to go into the pits, put on rain tyres, and he's going to come out and still be as quick as them in the rain. Well,
exactly. Can Hultbrat, that does change things a lot, and that does explain why these two are staying out now. The fact that it's going to rain again. Although they've got to be very careful they don't cook these tyres before the rain starts falling. Otherwise, they'll be just as Bambi-like as the dry tyre runners. But anyway. You see the advantage of a dry tyre runner for a GT3. That's Jay Becker outright beating Ian Knox through a turn there because of the dry tyres on a GT3 working wonders. There goes Knox now finally down the inside on a wet tyre. But again, Jay Becker's going to be... Yeah, look at this. This is a fantastic example of what I was talking about earlier on. GT3 dry tyres in these conditions. He's almost falling over himself not to overtake Ian Knox here because the prototype's just struggling so much in the wet. The GT3, despite being on dry tyres, so much better through the corners. But again, these GT3s are going to have to change from these dry tyres. And the question is, isn't it, Hultbrat, can he get 20-odd seconds ahead of these two to make a tyre change when the rain starts falling again? Or is it going to be just a temporary lead for him, which it looks like he's going to own at the end of this lap? Looks like Hultbrat is going to be leading by the end of this lap.
That's the thing. Look where he is. There's the rain, which is fine for Hultbrat now. There's the rain there. You can see it's raining, but that's fine for Magnus Hultbrat because it's not soaking wet. He's having to go off off the track. But he can really do with getting at least in and around these, that when they do go in, he's got to go in with them. He'll go in with them. He'll change tyres, get onto the wets if it is going to downpour. So it'll be interesting to see there. But at the moment, he's just running all the way over these. Casey Collier, Chad Henson, Matt Stewart, Gareth Kinney. I don't know what you've been up to, but apparently you've all had an incident together. So we'll have a look at that. But Hawkborough has cleared Knox, and I don't think it's long before he clears Henson. Comes in, gets wet tyres, and away he goes.
But he's going to change tyres and the other two won't. As long as they keep their tyres in a reasonable temperature, which Knox seems to be, and they won't struggle with that anymore with it being raining now. But as long as they've kept it within a reasonable temperature, they will not change tyres. But what is the gap going to be for Hawkborough once he's through here? Now he leads, but in terms of the corrected order, he's still 20 seconds behind them. So now the stopwatch begins, if you like. Now he's got to pull the advantage over Henson and Knox, who, as I say, will not change tyres, and Hawkborough will, if he wants to. I mean, he might well stay out on dries to the very end. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing. Can he get to the end on the dry tyres, or is he going to be able to not get to the end? You know, and at the end of the day...
Oh, straight in.
Who's that? Hawkborough.
Hawkborough straight in. What did you do that for?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? I'm not driving.
I'm not asking. It's a rhetorical question, obviously. I'm not. I don't expect you to know the answer to that. I don't know if he can come up with a reasonable answer for it at the moment, because it seems to me completely bonkers. He had the best tyres on. He was in the. He was clearly very, very quick. He was the fastest driver on the circuit. Now he's come in to change his tyres when it's not quite ready for wet tyres just yet.
Yeah, I don't think. He has gone on to wets, but again, I think that's a little bit early. I think he doesn't need to be on that one. Casey Collier and Caleb Parsons are swapping out the GT3 Pro League at this moment in time. Parsons tucked in behind Collier. Again, all of these drivers on wets, apart from Jay Becker, who is now just behind them. There is Jay. There's your two leaders, the orange and yellow and blue of Casey Collier. So Becker is coming again, but he's in the same situation as Magnus Hawkborough here as well, and that is Gurman, I believe, in that Mercedes. He's just, I'm not quite sure. He's having a bit of a rough one, to be honest with you. But I think at the end of the day, Becker's in the same scenario as Hawkborough was, but I don't know if Hawkborough come in a little bit too early there.
I think he has. I think he's very much jeopardised his race here, and he's back to third, I would say. I mean, look at the way that Andy Pratt's still gaining on the two in front here. Henson and Knox, he's doing it right at the moment. Although I think, knowing the forecast, I think the guys who started on wets probably had it best. Actually, I didn't know it was going to rain again in the race, but I think the guy in that case, the guys who started on wets probably had it right. Now, Jay Becker again, it's a good example of utilising the dry tyres well at the moment. Still gaining on the two in front, but for how long is this going to be? Parsons looking in his mirrors too much, goes deep, and Becker goes underneath him. Carries on though, crucially, and he needs to carry on for as long as these dry tyres will take him.
Yeah, but the problem isn't as long as it can take him, and it's the fact that they drop off to a cliff. He might go into one of the turns thinking he's got the grip like he had last time, and his back end's coming round. That's the problem for Jay Becker. I think maybe this lap, at the end of this lap, I think he needs to be in, and I think he needs to get off them dries as quickly as possible.
That was very nearly contact there with Collier. Last lap, by the way, was 5.7 seconds quicker than Collier. It might drop off a cliff here in terms of the weather, but at the moment the time gaps are massive in the favour of the dry tyre runner. Jay Becker leads this race in GT3. Now the 20-second stopwatch starts for him because he needs to pull a margin. Andy Pratt decides that now is the moment for the LMP2s as well, and he is in, just like Parker Enquist, who started on the dry tyres as well, also into the pit lane. But Pratt is the one who's got the real chance of winning there on that strategy rather than anybody else. As we follow Becker here, he's got less of an advantage over the wets than before, but he still does have the edge.
Yeah, he does. Important at the moment, though, the person he's got in front of him does not have a good time at this moment in time. Chad Henson is all over the place currently, and Henson's on the wet tyres. So if he's all over the place, it's not looking good. Looks like Parker Enquist has been speeding out of pit lane and in pit lane and has got himself a penalty on the way in there, unfortunately for him. But I don't think how much longer could Becker put up with it. That's the problem here as well. Do you think Jay should pit at the end of this lap to stay ahead of Kaysen? I think it's got to be soon. I've got to be honest. I think he needs to come in soon because I think when it does come off the edge of the cliff, he's going to know about it the most.
I know, and he does skate a bit into that final corner there. I do wonder whether this is the moment, but he decides to carry on.
Wrong time.
Yeah, I think he might have gone on one too long now.
Yeah.
We'll see. He's trying to get absolutely everything out of this, but as Vega and you've pointed out, if you go just one too long, you can just lose it all here.
Yeah.
So he's in danger of that at the moment, but it's level again. I think it's level between the dries and the wets, but he better hope that it doesn't get any worse on this lap right now, because otherwise he'll be a fish out of water, and he'll be on the dries on a wet circuit, and he'll see the advantage go away completely. At the moment, though, he holds just over a second. He surely should be in there very soon, though.
Yeah, I think it's got to be this lap. Caleb Parsons has gone in and sent it on Kaysen Collier. Just got that all wrong, mind you, that mistake, that overtake. And Kaysen just went, thank you very much. I'll come back. Look at the gravel that's all over the track. Won't do Jay Becker any favours either, unfortunately for him. Sitting there with all of that gravel on the racetrack. I think he's got to come in this lap. Otherwise, next lap, I think he could be in deep doo-doo, to be blatantly honest with you. So Jay Becker, if you are listening, son, this lap or never, because I think after this, you're going to struggle.
I think so. I think it's just started to contract as well, the gap this time around. Look at Parker Enquist, by the way, braving it out on dries as well. He's about to get overtaken by Becker, and again, showing that it's the GT3s who are affected last by this, but this is actually costing Becker time. It's not actually about the tyres at the moment for him. It's about the traffic that's in front of him that's really halting him. Off the rope for Parker Enquist. He's staying out the way of the GT3s who all go past. Becker loses a lot of time as a result, and surely he understands that he should be in this time round. We're about to hit the halfway mark in this race, exactly 20. Oh no, and he's gone! There it is! He's broken down towards the final turns, and it's veered left before he can catch it, and he's off into the barrier. Now he'll definitely come in, but it is too late. He should have come in last lap with hindsight, and he's carrying on. He's carrying on. And he's spinning again.
Shown him that this should have been in the pit lane. That is an absurd decision. Well,
I wonder if these GT3s are intending to do the whole race without stopping because of the fuel and the wet conditions, meaning you burn less fuel. But in any case, if that's a factor, then you shouldn't be on dries either anyway. But anyway, I don't know why Jay Becker is carried on now anymore. Maybe he's just not going to stop at all for the next 20 minutes. I'm not sure if it's going to stop raining again going forward. I don't know. But yeah, he's carried on, and he's not going to be a factor for the race win anymore. No. Let's put it that way.
Done and dusted on that one, mate, and you just cooked yourself on that. If you go into that corner and you've got no grip, your back end spins round, you don't sit there and go, I know, I'm going to carry on. No. You go in, you put the wets on, and you go, right, I'm going to go again. Because as soon as he went through the final chicane, he spun again. Bonkers.
Not sure where that 0% of rain is being taken from. It definitely is raining. We can see it.
I'm not entirely sure, to be blatantly honest. I've noticed that a couple of times.
Maybe it's not connected, isn't it? Someone just needs to put the finger out of the pit box and just decide for us. That's the best way of finding out. On board with Matt Stewart. He's catching a slide there, trying to get past Curtis Mathewson at the moment. It's been a bit of a nightmare day, really, if you're a championship leader, and a comfortable one at that. You can see it wiped away all in one moment, and Matt Stewart in that scenario at the moment. His big rival, Caleb Parsons, God, it's me, I'm smashing his first and second name together now as well. Caleb Parsons, is leading this race. Matt Stewart all the way down here in 5th. We'll be losing points to him at the moment, and major points as well. So these are the days you've got to survive as a championship leader, and these are the days that are always so difficult to survive as a championship leader.
Do you think this is where that tyre choice has just completely thrown the race on his head? Do you think that between the wet and the dries, what was the best to be on? Because at the moment, I ain't even sure what was best to be on. It looked like you had to go wets at the beginning, dries in the middle, wets at the end, and that would be how you would stay, I would have thought, if it's just going to carry on this all the way through.
If I could, as Stuart does get through here, by the way, if I were to be allowed to use an accurate crystal ball and know the weather conditions exactly before the race, how they've actually panned out, I would have just chosen the wets the whole way through, to be honest. Because, as I say, they were the best at the beginning and the end, and there realistically was only a little bit in the middle. And wets are always safer than dries as well in changeable conditions, because wet tyres on a dry circuit are just a lot of understeer and a bit ungainly, really. But dry dry tyres on a wet circuit can be very, very dangerous indeed. Oh, and speaking of dangerous, that was quite a dangerous moment for Matt Stewart, who gets into the rear right of Curtis Mathewson. Doesn't spin him all the way round, but does give him a big flash to express his disappointment in that.
Yeah, Jay Becker's back up to second in the pros. Jason Collier did go in pit lane, so that's the best on that one. I love Cisco YouTube chat. Best tyres would be Inters. Yeah, I said that at the beginning. Exactly what I said at the beginning, dude.
You say that, but Inters would have also been worse than the dries in that little bit in the middle there as well. So that, you know, there's no perfect tyre, but yeah, the Inters would have been the one they'd started on had they been an option, I suspect.
Yeah, exactly. But do you not think then you would have just lost too much time? Normally in like Formula One, you come into the changeable conditions, right? If it's raining, you come in and put your wets on. If it's dry, you put your dries on. If it's raining again, you put your wets on. But that's 3 pit stops that these guys would have had to make. I don't think it would have been an ideal scenario because it did go wet, dry, wet. That was practically how the race has gone. I am not sure what Ian Knox has got himself up to, but whatever it is, he's got himself into a little bit of a drama here, unfortunately for Ian Knox. So he's not had a good time. Yeah, he's I think he ran into too. Yeah, he did. Look, he just went in way too hot and almost stopped the car to try and get that rotation there as well. But Caleb Parsons is another one. Looks like he's had a bit of drama. Curtis Matheson is in pit lane, and Chad Henson and Ian Knox are still chasing each other with 17 minutes on the clock. Magnus Holtbrough 29 seconds back at the moment from Henson. I still think Holtbrough went in a lap early, though.
Yeah, probably one lap to it, but you know, such a fine line. We saw it with Jay Becker that he went. Well, he's still there, isn't he? So he's going multiple laps too late now. But we saw it the lap that would have been right. But it's so hard to judge that at the time. You want to, as I say, you want to squeeze absolutely everything you can out of the dry tyres while you've got them on. You don't want to sort of leave time on the table like Hooper did, but you, as I say, can go the other way and you can go on too long. Looks like it is going to be between Knox and Henson here, although with 17 minutes to go, they still haven't stopped yet. We've got questions, of course, about whether they will actually need any fuel or not, because Hooper only needed a few seconds of fuel. The most of his 25-second stop was a tyre change. He is gaining about 3 seconds a lap as a result, but since he's nearly half a minute behind, he only barely has enough time to get there in time. So I think these two are saving the fuel so that they don't have to stop at all throughout this race, if it will be my guess.
Well, maybe, but we just had contradicting information in YouTube chat. Ian and Henson still need to pit. I think Magnus is still in it, says Vigard.
So you mean YouTube chat contradicting me? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh dear! Off the road for Ian Knox, straight on and into the side of him. Chad Henson and Vegard Johansson. He's in the chat. Magnus Holtbrough, sorry, will definitely be involved now. Henson slides straight into the side of Ian Knox, and that changes everything here. It changes the leader. It also changes who might be the leader later on. Magnus Holtbrough is going to gain about 10 seconds on this lap here, and he's right back in this.
Well, there you go. That didn't take long, did it? You know what I mean? One mistake. I don't even know whose the mistake was. I think Henson hit Knox, and then they both decided that they both had a spin, and then that just freed up Holtbrough to come back at him. He's now 15 seconds. We was saying it was 28 or 29. He's now 15 seconds at the moment as well. Lanier, Taylor and Becker, how are you still out on this racetrack in dry tyres? That's bonkers.
Also, what's the point?
Boy. Yeah, you're going backwards quicker than you're going forward now.
And it's barely going to even be dry before the end of the race right now, so I don't really see the point. Unless they think they can lose less than the 20-30 seconds they would lose for changing tyres, but I don't think they can manage to lose. And there you go again. Becker's off again. It's veered left again, and it's just so difficult on the brakes to get this car stopped. And he spins around again in towards the Adelaide hairpin, does Jay Becker.
Go in pit lane, son.
It just doesn't look like he's going to, does it?
Oh, he's not even there, but I think he should have done. I think he should do. I think it's absolutely bonkers. Like, you could save at least some of your race now. You know, you're ahead of a lot of the GT3s. You're ahead of Parker Enquist in the LMP2. He's still got a penalty. He looks like he's had that penalty for quite a while. But I think, yeah, just go in. You know what I mean? Get it over and done with.
Vego de Hansen says there hasn't been a race this season where fuel saving the entire distance has been feasible. You say that, but Ched Henson tried to do it at Adelaide before he got before he had a crash. But anyway, I'll carry on. But they could make it if they were to fuel save aggressively. It doesn't look like they are, says Vegard. I don't know. I think, well, you have a better eye for it than me, I suspect, Vegard. But I'm not entirely convinced at the moment. I think they might be saving to get to the end. As I say, mainly... Oh, dear. We should start watching him here.
I know. I'm making a rod for my own back here. Weston's just come out of pit lane. Manny's just come out of pit lane. They've obviously on wets.
And Weston sped, by the way.
Yeah, he's got a penalty, so he ain't done himself any harm there. But yeah, where is this going to be? Where do we think Hawkborough is? Oh, Becca, look.
Stop
Bye-bye. It! In the background. Oh, it's just went off. Go in pit lane, Jay. Please, go in pit lane. Yay! Go on, sunshine. 20 laps late, but you're doing well. I don't know. Oh, that was painful. And he got a speeding penalty on the way in.
Well, Bay did. No, it wasn't a speeding penalty. That was incident count. He had that before he went in pit lane.
You reckon?
No, I saw it. He definitely did.
Gurman's got off again, but I won't compound that.
He's been off so many times, it makes sense, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, I won't compound that young man's misery for Steve Gurman. Unfortunately, he's gone off again as well.
So, yeah, basically, I don't know if I reported this back 2 weeks ago, but I think I did. Chad Henson messaged me after the Adelaide race, after he'd watched the broadcast, that he did plan to go to the end without stopping at all in GTP. His crash meant that he had to stop, and obviously that would bring the end of the no stopper for him. He also mentioned that he missed the gridding time, which thankfully he didn't do today, and you can see what results he can get when he is on the grid on time. But that basically, Henson there revealing to me that a few weeks ago he tried it at Adelaide, and it was going well until the crash, obviously. Maybe suggests to me that he's doing the same here, although, again, he's had a spin in this race as well with Ian Knox, and that is a spin also for one of the GT3s there. Steve Gurman again. And Magnus Sorpo's got a meatball, so he's not going to be winning this race. He'll be down pit lane very soon.
Why?
And he was involved with Gurman. He must have been.
This is very bizarre. Hold on.
It's exactly the same place as that Mercedes was spun. Now, Gurman was already damaged. Hopper comes in here at 1,000,000 miles an hour and smashes into him.
Yeah, but Gurman is slow.
I know.
We had
exactly
this,
like what happened 2 days ago.
Yes,
or yesterday even.
Yesterday, but when we're looking at a man who's got an 2,200 IR, and then we go to Steve Gurman who's got a 690. I feel that there is a massive disposition between driving abilities, and Gurman has unfortunately gone off the track a lot. I'm not saying that everybody's not entitled to race, because I think you are, regardless of your skill level. But I think there may be just a massive difference between Gurman's ability to race in this league as such. Here, I think he practice is possibly needed, and somebody may need to get hold of Steve Gurman. Yeah, Steve. I was just checking; it didn't say Gammon. Now might have been reading it wrong. Steve Gurman, and maybe give him a little bit of instruction.
So you're saying that somebody not at racing speed on the racing line is at fault?
Now, before you twist my words, Mr. O'Leary. Hey, no. I knew where you were going. If anybody's watched back last night,
just asking for a friend,
you will completely understand what we're talking about if you watched last night's broadcast. If you didn't watch last night's broadcast from us on
makes no sense.
It makes no sense as to what's going on. So there we go. Yeah, so just shut up. I'm not even going to.
Not even willing to answer it.
No,
Great.
I'm not even going to try, because it's just going to get me in even more trouble, because I'm going to try and answer it, but I'm going to just dig myself a bigger hole, and you're going to twist my words round. So I'm not going to answer it, but
dear.
I'm just going to say that I think at this moment in time, the ability of German compared to Hopra, I think Hopra was not at fault that time around.
There you go.
I will point out, though, if you read the YouTube Discord chat after that, there wasn't actually admittance from Mr. Maxwell about what he did.
So that's what I said after we'd been arguing about it for 5 minutes. I said he's the most chilled out guy ever. He probably won't be that irate about it anyway.
No, he admitted he made the moo-boo.
Fine. I think he's just a nice guy.
I met him in real life. He is a nice guy, but he did admit he was wrong. So there we go.
Okay, fine, whatever. Let's see who's actually going to go on to win this race, because it won't be Magny-Cours now, I don't think, with only 8.5 minutes to go, unless those two are still planning on stopping here, Henson and Knox. I'm sceptical. Well, we've been talking about that again. Damon Hayward has come in and said they need to pit to meet the pit requirements for the race.
Now, I didn't know there was any.
No. Neither did I. And Henson clearly is not aware of it, because he's tried to do it 4 weeks ago, and he's trying to do it again tonight, it seems, as well.
Yeah, so maybe there possibly isn't a requirement to pit. I don't know.
I don't know.
If anybody's read the rules, let me know. I don't remember seeing it in there. So there you go. Let us know, YouTube chat. Is it a pit stop? No, hold on. Is there a pit stop requirement rather than advisable? No, advisory, even. Let me know.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't think there was a mandatory. Damien says, I could be wrong, but I thought we had to stop one race. Vego says there isn't a mandatory. Henson's round, so lead change. Ian Knox now at the front. How has he managed this? Well, into the Adelaide hairpin is wet, but how has he managed it at such low speed? Might be on the power again.
Oh, gravel.
Oh, it's on the power.
Gravel.
Those stones certainly aren't helping. And Gummon there slowed down, and fair play to him as well, because Henson wasn't waiting for anybody as he spun back around. He can sense a race victory here, Henson, or could have done, and he wants to try and get back on the chase to Ian Knox, who now leads.
Yeah, so Vegard said there is no mandatory, and everybody kind of agrees, but he did come back then after and say, but fuel in most cases makes it so they have to stop. But we aren't running at full speed, are we, as such, with the rain that's been on and off all the way through the race. So is it possible, the fact that they haven't burnt as much fuel, can they get to the end?
Yes. Again, I think it is possible. And again, Vego Johansson obviously is a LMP2 driver in this series. Might be different for them than it is for GTP as well, to be fair. All the LMP2s have stopped quite early in this race, really. The most recent stop for an LMP2 at the front was lap 17, which is already 4 laps ago, and that's nowhere near the end of the race. So it may well be different for them than what it is for the GTPs out front. As Ian Knox goes over the line there, he will see 4 laps to go in this race, and he's got to hold on to a 5-second advantage over Chad Henson here for the race win.
Yeah, and I think he will. I think he will. Sorry, I think Knoxy will manage to hold on to this one. Henson, I don't believe Hopper is going to be able to get any further. But the question will be whether or not, as we said, that fuel can last for Knox and Henson. If not, then there might be a quick splash and dash at the end, but that still could bring in Hawkborough a little bit.
Now, Sam Hager's come in and says that he continued the mandatory stop discussion by saying there is a mandatory stop, but no tyres are required. So, I don't know what's going on there. It's in the Season 3 rules Discord. Now, we can't see that, or at least I can't, which is very helpful. But we'll just have to take your word for it. So, I'm still confused, basically. Now, we absolutely do have conflicting reports from multiple different drivers saying there is and there isn't. So
yeah, I can't see that either. Why can't I see that?
Because we're broadcasters and we're not racers, obviously we haven't been included into being able to see the rules, which is a bit of a shame.
Bit nuts.
But hopefully we'll have it fixed after this race because
I posted in league chat. Which chat is this, Garrett? Which chat? Did you tag me? Otherwise, I'm no. Oh, hold on.
yeah, there we go. Sam Hager, the race will be 45 minutes with a mandatory pit stop. You do not have to take tyres during a pit stop. That's just a screenshot of a document. But
well, we're gonna we take it. It's gonna be a legal doc. Well, not. Oh, Noxie!
Oh no, the race leader, and he's in the wall as well. Ian Knox in the wall hard. And don't forget there's championship implications here as well, because not only is he not winning this race anymore, he's back behind Magnus Hoppo again, or he will be, and that gives Hoppo the championship lead if things stay as they are to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, I don't even want to say Chad Henson has got it wrapped up, because I said Noxie's got it wrapped up, and he went off and hit the wall and broke everything and jumped back to pit lane and got a meatball. So he towed, yes, he did tow Vigard. He jumped straight back to pit lane for Ian Knox. So, yeah, he couldn't even make it back. 3:45 on the clock. Gurman's off again on the bottom of the track. That poor young man, or old man, or however, middle-aged man, whatever, has just got off. Henson's just completely missed the chicane, and Jay Becker's tucked in behind him again. Henson's now got a slowdown. So is this really... This can't be Holtborough's race if Henson makes a mistake, can it?
I think he's probably too far back. Henson's got time for a spin if he wants to have one with 20 seconds, but he'll try and avoid one. Now, again, with that ruling, now we've just been given, Henson will indeed have to come in either this time or next time. There's 2 laps to go here, and he's got only 2 more passages by the pit lane to actually manage this. And I'm absolutely sure Henson is not aware of this rule either, because, as I say, he messaged me 4 weeks ago saying he'd tried it before and that it would have worked unless until he crashed, obviously, which is a separate thing at Adelaide. Now, has he changed his outlook on that in the last few weeks or not? Well, he's going to have to pit on the very last lap if he's going to pit at all.
I don't think he's going to pit. I honestly do not think he's going to pit. Now, is that then going to get him disqualified and Magnus Hopper is going to win? Anyone? No?
Well, if Henson carries on, I think Hoppo will win. And as you say, I agree. I think Henson is going to stay out till the end here. Mistakenly.
There's no need for him. I don't think he knows this rule. Because I'm not being rude. He has done this. He's tried this for a few races.
Right, yeah. This is race number 2 of trying it now.
Because he's tried it again. He's clearly not aware of the rule that apparently there's a mandatory stop. He doesn't have to take through. Hopper's got a penalty. So that's really thrown it up into the...
Whoa, well, yeah, because...
Go in, Chad. You might as well, son. If you're watching it, you've got a pit stop to do.
Again, we don't have the document to hand, but what is the penalty for not making a mandatory stop? Is it just qualification? Is it, is it 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes? What is it? Because Hoppo's going to have a penalty here that's going to cost him about 30 odd seconds if he's going to come in and serve that.
He won't come in. He can't come in. Are we on the last lap?
No, we're not on the last lap yet, no.
Oh, well, he might come in at the end of this lap. If he comes in at the end of this lap, then, yeah, he'll get it done. If he doesn't, then obviously he's going to get a couple 40-second penalty over the line anyway. So Henson's got 40 seconds. I don't think Henson knows that rule. I know Sam's posted it twice for us as well in Season 3 General Rules. He's just posted it again. The same thing, I think, but...
Well, sort of the same thing, but also showing that the whole thing, basically, it's literally the first line under the rules of race. Yeah. So it's hard to miss, but he's carrying on. He has not stopped in this race. And reportedly, some people think it will be a disqualification. Well, who is actually left to win this race? Magnus Hoppo is going to have to come in and serve his penalty, and if he's not careful, Andy Pratt's going to get past him, and we'll have an LMP2 winning the race overall if we're not careful. Let's see in a moment, but Hoppo's in to serve his penalty.
Yeah, Hoppo's in. Where are you, Andy? You're going round. Oh, I don't think Pratt's going to be able to get him. I don't think Pratt will get Hopper because Hopper is now on his way out. But Henson effectively should get DQ'd unless he's...
Well, it won't happen in iRacing. It will happen post-race by the admins. It won't happen in the session, I don't think.
No, but can he go into the pit lane on the final lap?
No. That's not allowed, no. Surely. And he's really slowing down. Is he out of fuel as well? When will the madness end? This is just a crazy race.
I don't know what I was going.
He's out of fuel. Is he even? Has he even? He's very, very slow. He's not quite out yet. He's barely using any. This race is clearly gone on 1 lap longer than he was expecting. Using quite a lot of fuel there for engine braking. Goodness me. Keep it in high gear, for goodness sake. Well, oh, now he's nearly off the road. And it stopped raining, by the way, so these wet tyres look a bit second-hand now with the water going away. Now, is he out now?
No, he's rolling down
no, he's just lifting off. He's just lifting off. It's slightly uphill towards the line. He keeps using lots of fuel for engine braking there. But anyway, slightly uphill to the line. And he's going to cough and splutter over the line. But according to what we've been told, he has not taken the mandatory pit stop required in this series. He believes that he's won the race here, Chad Henson. But he hasn't, I'm afraid. And there will be potentially as much as a dequalification coming for him. Magny-Cours is going to come across the line then to take the actual race win here at Le Mans tonight. Just in behind Weston and Manning, by the way, as Weston gets a penalty in the last lap there, dropping him off of the podium. In LMP2, Andy Pratt is going to take victory, but not before Randy Olivo does. In fact, they're going to come across the line together here. The GT3 AM winner extending his championship lead, and the LMP2 winner extending his as well. They come over the line nose to tail. Randy Olivo first as the GT3 AM winner, nearly in the top 10 overall. And then Andy Pratt winning in LMP2 as well. And back in GT3 Pro, it's a win for Caleb Parsons. Only second to Matt Stewart, though, in the end. So only a few points gained for Parsons in the end. So Stewart will still be the championship leader at the end of a crazy, crazy race tonight.
Yeah, big odd. Kind of glad I wasn't there for the race to see this. That's what you put.
Yes.
In the YouTube chat there as well. Even, I love it, even Dave, I think it was Dave Van Dam in the Discord? I can't remember which.
Yes, Dave Van Dam.
He's just tagged him and put, pit my guy.
It's a bit late for that.
And that was on the final lap, but he still didn't pit on that one. So, yeah, but he must have been in a chat with somebody who would have said, dude, you need a pit, or you don't need a pit.
He's not in the big group with everybody else. He's not in there.
I think to clear this up, we need to pull in Mr. Bartlett first, once Caleb Parsons goes over the line. Pull in Reese, who will then tell us more then, because we normally interview Chad, but he's not obviously here on that one. Right, so let's get the results up. Once we've done the results, pull in Reese from below, and we'll have a chat with Mr. Bartlett. Oh, and Steve German goes and does one more spin.
There we go. We'll show it one more time. Oh, it's just doing donuts. That was an intentional one for once. So on the, I'll read out the results as they have been on the road, because they are going to change afterwards. Chad Henson over the line first by 16 seconds in front of Magny-Cours, and a podium for LMP2 winner Andy Pratt again. Ian Knox gets fourth, the other GTP. Then Jeff Manning rounding up the top five. Kurt-Jan Polman and Tom Weston were also LMP2s there in the rest of the field. Caleb Parsons wins in GT3 Pro in front of Matt Stewart and closes the championship gap with Kason Collier then rounding out the top 10 as well. Randy Oliver wins in GT3 AM in front of Josh Taylor, who's a pro. Then Justin Lanier finishes second in class. Then Parker Enquist, another LMP2. Then Reece Bartlett, who gets a GT3 AM podium. Curtis Matthewson, Nick Green, Jay Becker, Garrett Kinney and Steve German round out the top 20. And the non-finishers, Philip Gressing, with the non-starters of Damien Hayward and Carlos Balanas here tonight. So those are the very provisional race results, I suppose. Now, we've brought in Reece Bartlett for a bit of clarification at the end here tonight. Reece, welcome in. Good to have you with us. And congrats on a podium in your race, by the way, in GT3 AM class here tonight. But we've had a situation at the front of the field where Chad Henson has gone through the entire race without stopping, with a big load of fuel saving to make it to the end of the race, and also some perseverance on wet tyres as well. But we're told that is outside of the league rules, and we're unsure as to what the penalty might be. Do you have any light to shed on that?
Reese?
Hello, Reese.
Reese! Hello!
Well, it's just going better and better, isn't it?
Reese!
Well, he's not there, clearly.
They don't have my talent,
anyway,
my money,
I think
or
we can work it out
especially my good looks.
what he's going to say.
No
I'll put
idea.
him back.
We'll put him back in. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Where have I put him? Anyway, on that, right. Chad Henson is in the Discord chat now. So let's bring Chad down to the interview room, and you can have a chat and see if he's aware of the rule.
That'll be an awkward conversation.
Wait, get back here, you.
Where is trying to? Oh yeah, Magnus Hopper is there as well for an event.
Who do you want?
Well, I want the actual race winner, but that's quite difficult to discern at the moment. We'll chat to Chad Henson. Anyway.
I tell you what, let's get Garrett Kiddie. Let's get Garrett Kiddie. Oh no,
well,
Chad's back with us.
I did that. Chad, can you hear us at the moment? And can we hear you?
Yeah, sorry, I had to get it off push to talk mute.
No worries at all. Well, congratulations on a great drive out front of the field here tonight. It was a very entertaining race to watch, I've got to say, from out front between yourself and Ian Knox, and also Magnus Hutbo was in there for a little bit as well. We've just been having some discussions though about the rules of this series and whether one can do a no-stop race in this series. Are you aware of any rules around that this season?
I am not. I have done a no stop. I've tried a second one, and I looked through the rules after you guys questioned it a couple of weeks ago, and I did not see anything in the rule book. I do see somebody just posted something into Discord. I have no idea where that came from, but I don't know. For me, if you got enough fuel in the tank to finish the race, you shouldn't force a pit stop. I get it if you want to pit for tires and stuff or pit for strategy or whatever, but if you got enough fuel in the tank to finish the race, it's silly to me to force a pit stop. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I've got to say, I am now looking through. I do get what you're saying from your point of view, and I do want to talk actually about how the race was itself as well, rather than getting drowned in rules stuff, because we have been talking about that for a long time on this broadcast. But talk us through the actual race itself, for dealing with it from your side, because first of all, the tyre decision that you had to make at the start here, starting on the wets. It was sort of dry, and then it properly was dry, and then obviously got wetter again, and also managing the fuel throughout this race, and a battle with Ian Knox that you had throughout this race. So I just took us through how it was to manage all those sort of minefield of things here in this race.
Well, it's an easy answer because typically I suck in the rain. So I usually come into these races with the strategy to survive. And in this case, I definitely planned the no stop. I did the calculations in advance and saw that I could finish the race. So I was like, just take it easy. I knew I was going to have some laps on dry track, so the tires were going to get hot. I was seeking out puddles. I figured people would have accidents. I figured with multi-class traffic, particularly around that long, endless carousel, people were going to slide out, and it happened. I mean, it happened to me. It happened to Ian. We went back and forth on, unforced errors. I think I put one good move on him. Another one, I was trying to avoid him when he went off track, and I hit the white line and lost it too. I was going to redress that one. I told him in a DM that I didn't plan to do it by looping it in the hairpin though. So we kind of went back and forth a couple times, and then when I came around turn one, he was off in the gravel, so I have to go back and see what happened there. But that was really unfortunate because I was kind of hoping we'd go back and forth all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, indeed. But alas, it was not. Still a very entertaining race between the two of you, and very well driven. Thanks for chatting to us tonight, Chad, and congratulations on what was a great drive tonight.
Oh, hey, this one's going on the wall. I'm getting a trophy. This is my first win in the rain. It'll never happen again. So I'm going to be a happy camper this weekend. But thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Absolutely love it, and appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Chad Henson chatting to us at the end here tonight. Winner on the road tonight. Now, I wonder whether an admin's just given me permission to look into the rules now, or whether I was just blind and never saw them in the first place. That they've always been there. But I am looking through myself, and it does say there is a mandatory pit stop. That you don't have to take tyres during them, but that there is a mandatory stop. Chad Henson says that he's never seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen these rules before either, but I think that's because I didn't have the permissions for it up until about a few minutes ago. So sadly, that win may be chalked off. James wants to get confirmation of that, though.
Oh, hello. That's what I was in the process of doing, actually. No, that's fair. I thought we established it, but I'm going into the actual rules section now to chat about it. Yeah.
So, yeah, and also more
let's
interestingly, says
see.
that he's done it before as well and wasn't penalised for it. But, although I can't remember when that would have been.
So fuel notes don't have anything about required.
No, it's in general rules, season 3 general
Yeah.
rules.
I am looking through them now. Sorry, made them a long read. How was the race for you guys? I'm looking now, and I truthfully don't see an explicit statement that we say he has to pit. I see that we stated we have updated the fuel cap, and that was to make it so you should not be able to make it to the end of the race.
It is written down.
Okay, where do you see it there?
Season 3 general rules under the heading race. It's very
Okay.
couldn't be clearer.
Yep, mandatory pit stop. Yes, mandatory pit stop. I do see that. So yes, we will have to evaluate what the penalty is there. Whether it's probably going to be a 40-second penalty or something of that nature. But yes, that since we do have it explicitly stated, I wanted to make sure of that. Since sounds good. Bye.
Bye. So there we go. So it's explicitly done that you had to pit.
Well, I could have told you that, but anyway.
You're so wonderful, Mr. O'Leary. Yes.
I can read. I know. Amazing.
Can you
Amazing
actually?
skill I have.
I didn't think people up north could.
It's a newfound thing.
Oh, lovely. So there we go. Should we go to bed now? It's very late after this drama. I don't think I can cope anymore. It's like watching an episode of EastEnders or Friends if you're in America.
That's quite an equating TV show, isn't it? EastEnders versus Friends. Good grief.
Well, they've both got drama in every episode, haven't they? Let's be real about it. You know what I mean? Look, we've got Kat Slater and then we have Rachel Green. So it's literally
I don't know who either of those people are.
Have you never watched Friends? Jennifer Aniston's character, Rachel Green, Kat Slater, Mrs. Blinking Leopard Print.
Nope.
Oh, okay, cool.
Never
Good. I love talking to you at times, but now I definitely feel old. You know what I mean? Literally. I feel about 50 about now. The fact that you've never watched Friends before in my life.
Not an age thing. It's not an age thing.
It's clearly an ability to watch TV.
It's an ability to watch TV.
Okay, cool.
That's the thing. Do you want to have a chat with any of the other class winners? Or
I don't think I can take it anymore because I don't know how this is going to go. I feel worn out that we've had to have a big discussion on league rules, and I don't want to be the man that's going to tell Chad Henson. Do you?
No. No. I imagine they're having that discussion right now.
Yeah,
in the other big chat.
That ain't going to go well. Let's be real about it. Although he's been given first on the standards at the moment, that's not going to go well. So whoever wants to have that chat, good luck, because he's going to be arguing the living duties out of that because he wants a trophy and put it on his wall for winning Magny-Cours. Oh, I don't think I can handle anymore.
Well, it's certainly been a dramatic night here tonight. That is for sure from Magny-Cours. It was always going to be in the changeable weather race, although we perhaps got even more drama than what we bargained for here tonight. It's been another great round, though, of the GNR Simsport Proto-GT Sprint Series here tonight. Join us again in 2 weeks' time. We'll be live same time, same place on the JPB channel, of course, from the Indy Road Course, which will be our penultimate round of the championship. That will be in the darkness, by the way, so more unusual conditions for the drivers to deal with before our Red Bull Ring finale.
Damien Hayward has said, can he get an interview to see his mum on the next, to say hi to his mum on the next race?
Well, if you win a race, then maybe.
Hi, Mum, I'm on TV.
So
anyway, sorry. I'll shut up. Literally now. I'm done.
Yeah, well, that is just about it from us here tonight. I've been Neil Leary alongside Jez Profit. Until we see you in 2 weeks' time from the Indy Road Course for the next round of this championship. It's goodbye for now.